Hey everybody, I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. Hey, Alan Ballantyne is here. That's always an honor. What's going on, Alan? How are you, brother? Good to see you. I missed Alan today. We usually get together on Saturdays. Probably gonna have to do that tomorrow. Been a day. Kevin Hawthorne, Lakeland, Florida. Moni, good to see you. Sandy Wendy, creepy, hippie chick, hippie chick. Awaken by the Looking Glass, good to see you. Debbie P, Janine, Caroline, Curtis, Miss Sunrise Dawn, Davey. Hey, what's up, Russ? Looking good, Wood. Michael J, Zena Turner, Mischief Managed, May Danger, Spilling Tea with Spunky Sparky, Third Eye Open. Ben, Hannah the Blind Kitty, Deeming, Lisa Trimble, always a pleasure. Vixen, Doc Rue, Tommy Knocker, Izzy E, Queen of Awkwardness, Lene. What do you think? Did we bust out a lot of them? I think we got most of them. Squirrel Girl, Sweet Liberty, and Killy Billy. Atypical Paul. Charlie Murphy. How you doing, Charlie Murphy? Good to see you. Fancy Nancy, glad that you're here. Oh, dip you in glitter. Good to see you, dip you in glitter. SPTV Tattoo Warrior. Oh, you were on the replay with me and Reese. Well, that was I think that was a good one. I was probably wasn't firing on all cylinders. Not having nothing to do with Reese, by the way. We've been getting along just lovely. I'm just been a rough couple of days, but we're doing good. So we're gonna do some question and answer stuff today, people. Nothing, and I do mean nothing, is off limits. Fire away. You got a question? This would be the time. You know why we do this as content creators, don't you, people? Because it keeps us from having to actually create content. It gives you the ability to just kind of fire back and forth and kind of play off of the audience, so to speak. You must be using invisible ink. Well, I would hate that. If you know where to score good invisible ink, let me know, man. Been looking for a while. Sandy. Yeah, Lord Kissbreak, it looks like a lot of people may actually be seeing you. So I don't know that you are invisible. That's good. Do I drink coffee or tea? And how do you like it? I like it often. That is an excellent question, because there was a period of time where I actually tried to cut down and even quit. Coffee. But I have decided that there are things in my life that just doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of reason to bother quitting anymore. So yes, I am drinking coffee, and I like it foofy. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Foofy. And by foofy, I mean I like it with really fancy creams and things that make it taste a lot less like coffee and a lot more like candy. Dig it, dig it, dig it, dig it, dig it. Great question. What are your opinions on Tony Robbins and what he does? Real deal or a grift? Well, there are many people like Tony Robbins. This is an industry, right? And a good one. Now, as far as whether or not it's real or if it's a grift, it's absolutely real. 100% real. And it is absolutely a grift. And what I mean by that is this. If you walk through the front door and you got a handful of money and you say, I'm ready to put the cash down and I'm going to walk on fire and I'm going to get excited and woo-hoo-hoo-hoo, I'm going to cheer and we're going to high five and do the dance thing, then you probably will leave with a much different attitude. And if you pay attention, he's going to give you some stuff that's actually solid that you can use to dramatically change your life. I promise. And he's done it for famous people. He's done it for people all over the world because when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So is he a good teacher? He is. He's excellent. As far as public speakers go and motivational guys, Tony's as good as anyone. He'll get you keyed up. You'll be hitting yourself in the chest, feeling all kinds of adrenaline coursing through your body. I used to go in and say, I'm not going to get into it. I know what this guy does for a living. Hell, I do it for a living. I'm not going to let this guy get me all fired up. And then my friend and I would be jumping up and down, breathing in the ether and high-fiving and going, hell yes. Most motivational people are, you can get a lot out of. What I would say is this. If they're asking you to get out your checkbook a lot, run like hell. Run like hell. There's something to be said for people who are trying to help you be better than you are. But if that requires you removing your checkbook out of your pocket 4 and 5 times before you leave, maybe look around before you do that. You know what I mean? It just seems like it's a good idea. Can we get a reading list of Q's favorite books? Yeah, I could probably make that happen. You're going to get a lot of nonfiction. I can tell you a lot of the things that are on there. Sun Tzu, The Art of War, that was on there as an absolute, must read. One of the first things he wanted me to have was that. Marcus Aurelius. That's another book that anything that you could get. History of Marcus Aurelius. He was big on Shakespeare. And if it was a classic, if it was something that you had to read in 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th grade in any school on planet Earth, he probably read it. Pretty big into that. And the reason for that is important, people. You say, who cares about any of this stuff? Well, the reason is because we say things like Orwellian, right? We're going to end up living in an Orwellian society, and people go, over enough time, you know what Orwellian means because it's been used in a sentence 5,000 times. But if you actually know the story, well, then you can say, wait, come on now. Or Orwellian, are you pushing this a little bit? Right? I don't think anybody ever thought, hey, I read too much. Boy, I wish I had read a lot less because it's made me just downright stupid, right? Read nonfiction in as much as you can get, but I will absolutely ask you about that. Yes, Foofy Coffee puts a smile on my face. Have you ever looked into the U.S. Patents of, Hendrikus G. Lewis about manipulation of nervous systems via electric fields, remote magnetic manipulation of nervous systems? I have not. I know that there has been an awful lot of stuff done by DARPA. Sadly, that's usually where it is. But DARPA has done a lot with trying to experiment with how they can hurt people using things like that. But I am not familiar with the study. If I'm fascinated by things like that, I probably will. If I come across it, I most certainly will deep dive it. Did you see Pawn Stars Rick Harrison's son, Adam Harrison, passed away of a fentanyl overdose? I saw my first commercial on TV for fentanyl. Isn't that something? I have said before, and it's a tragic thing to say, and people hate me every time I say it, but I'll say it again. The beautiful thing about famous people dying of fentanyl is we all have to start talking about it, right? Hundreds of people are going to die today of fentanyl, and we're not going to talk about any of them, right? Because the guy's name is Larry, Richardson. And Larry Richardson is laying in a street somewhere, right, in an alley or in a, motel that you pay for by the day. So not that much of a big deal. So when somebody who's famous, it happens to, it kinds of gets us talking about this and brings the whole thing into the zeitgeist. And that's not such a bad thing. I know I don't want anyone to die, but every time somebody famous does, if it ups, the conversation a little bit more, then that's a good thing. Because it's tragic that we're losing anybody, especially considering these aren't accidental drug overdoses. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the guy tried to unalive himself. I'm saying when you send over a pill that's got so much crap in it that it can kill you, that's murder. Church that shit up any way you want. It's murder. Question: I'm addicted to food. as you know, you can't just avoid food. Well, yeah, that's kind of a thing. Or can I? No. Should I just give in and just drink nutrition shakes and never enjoy food again since it's a slippery slope? Oh, hell no. The hell's the point of not enjoying life? No, absolutely not. That's horrific. And that's not what's going to happen. What needs to happen is you need to change how you are, right? And I know that sounds like a tall order, and people are going, oh man, Tommy, did you just tell people this? I had to put 7.5 grams of heroin in my arm every single day to put the keys in the car, start the car, drive to Walmart to buy groceries and come home, to pick my kid up from school, to show up at work. I needed to do 7.5 grams a day, every single day, just in order to be able to breathe, or so I thought. And I was thoroughly convinced that I needed that crap at least to survive. The pain would be so bad without it, I wouldn't be able to walk, think, talk, do anything. The mind is an incredible thing. And when it's not working on your side, then it will kick the hell out of you. And the answer is this. You're going to have to learn to love food, right? But the relationship with food will change. What you eat, when you eat, how you eat. Doesn't mean you have to do away with food, but it's when you eat, how you eat, right? And what you eat. There are things that we eat that are killers. There are things that we eat that are absolute killers. Start doing a little research, right? You guys can deep dive for 2 days on Ruby Frankie, right? You read every single thing you ever wanted to know about that sick mother and all of the. Take 4 days researching what foods are spiking what you're eating with high fructose corn syrup for the purpose of doing what? Taking you straight up and straight down. Because when you're straight down, you're going to need some more high fructose corn syrup. Right? I'm simplifying the crap out of this, but you do understand what I'm saying? Look on the back of your ingredients list. If you're eating something that is a salty food and you're going, why would they put sugar in that? Why would they put high fructose corn syrup in something that is supposed to be really an ultra salty kind of a thing? Kind of apples and oranges. Doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, does it? Well, it's not in there for flavor. It's not. It's in there to get you to buy more of it and eat more of it fast. Raise your hand if you know someone that drinks 25 diet sodas a day. Sounds ridiculous, right? People are like, oh, come on, Tommy. Oh, no. Oh, no. I talk to them every day. People who say, yeah, I drink somewhere between 3 6-packs and 4 6-packs a day. Oh, no big deal, right? It's diet. Oh, no. It's horrific for you. But that ultra sweet, sugary fake does the same thing in the body that the sugar does. We go straight up, we go straight down. I need another one. We go straight up, we go straight down. I need another one. Go straight up, straight down. I need another one. What you need to do is you need to completely change everything. Catalina Foothills High School in Tucson, Arizona. That's funny. She got her copy of Shantaram. You are going to love it, I promise. You're going to love Shantaram, I promise. It really is an amazing book. I really think it's going to be something that you dig. You know what? How cool is this? Tommy, you mean a lot to me. Bed made. 3/4 of the office cleaned and organized. Laundry done. We'll finish office and do extra laundry tomorrow. And I have got news for you, Lisa Trimmel. You are going to walk into that room, right? And you may not hear it, may not come out like it does in the movies, right? But trust and believe you're going to get that, like the clouds open up, right? And then, we called it the Jesus clouds. The beautiful light comes down and you did it. You did it. For how long did you look around and let that kick your butt? Not anymore, right? Drew a line in the sand. I'm fixing this. Ooh, that crap's addicting. Ooh, that crap's addicting. Success is more addicting than failure, but you got to get good at it, right? You make your bed every morning because it is that first success, that first thing that you can do. Let's get into the habit of being successful in everything we do. Set the goal, hit it. Set the goal, hit it, right? Have you ever heard of Alison Krauss? She has the most beautiful voice I've ever heard. check out When You Say Nothing at All. Her band is Union Station, but she also does solo stuff. I know Union Station. I did not know Alison Krauss. I am familiar with the band Union Station, but I promise you I will check that out. I promise you. If it's touching you, then chances are it will probably do the same thing to me. You know what, Russ, as I said, I am putting something together so that we can actually do this. I am going to put together something so we can get some stuff to queue, but it's tricky. CMU, Communication Management Unit in the Feds, is a very tricky place to get things in and out of, but we're going to put something together, I promise. And I was going to do it today, but today has been a really, really, today's been an unusual day, people. It really has. Well, now that you have outed yourself as a foofy coffee lover, I must ask a question. Choices, flavored creamer of the moment. You know, I rotate through about 20 different kinds of creamers, right? But the go-to is no, I can't. Hazelnut. Almost brain farted that one out. Hazelnut is my go-to. All the other ones kind of come and go, but I am a big hazelnut guy. And you know how they make them in the ones that are like this big, you know, and they're about that tall, and then they make them in. I ordered them in the ones that look like they need to be brought in by an 18-wheeler. You know what I mean? Like those silver canisters you see on 18-wheelers. That's how I want my creamer, and I want just enough coffee in there so that I can justify the fact that I'm drinking coffee. I mean, keep it real. I'm drinking creamer, but it's the only thing that it's my really only cheat during the day. It's not. I don't think it's going to screw up my my childlike. My teen-like physique. Pardon me. And this is why you got to read, right? This is why you got to read. We are living in a pre-Orwellian society. Very close, depending on the person speaking. Yeah. I know exactly why she's saying this. She's saying this because we are watching our words get changed. Oh, you can't say this anymore, or you can say this, or this word means something different, right? Things that may not make sense to us. Where if I say it now, some of you will hate me, so I won't say any of those things. But you understand, new speak is happening, and that's very much what happened in the book 1984. So, you definitely can educate yourself a lot by reading. You know what, Lori Snotface says? How do prisons get books in their library? Are they donations or are they new? Great question. The way the library grows is somebody like my family sends me in, 20 or 30 books over the course of the year. When I leave that prison, I'm only allowed to take about 4 with me. All the rest I donate by either giving it to the fellas personally or donating it to the library. If they come and they do a search, which they do every time somebody does something wrong, they tear up the entire place, right? They would come in my cell and they go, you got 45 books. You can keep 5. And then the rest of them end up in the library. So that's how the libraries get built. And now you have to order books from Amazon, and Amazon will ship it into the people, or from Discount Books, and Discount Books will ship it in. You used to be able to go to a bookstore and say, I want to buy this book and ship it into Calhoun. And they'd say, okay, we'll do that. And then what they would do is, instead of shipping that book, they would find the closest Barnes and Noble to the prison and have them ship it, right, to save time. So to make sure that doesn't happen, I would open up the inside cover and write on it, to Calhoun with love from your dad, or whatever. Because the idea used to be I would have gone in the day before and bought that book, taken it home. Now I have to reverse steal it, right? I'm going to put it down my pants and I'm going to walk into a bookstore with a book that I've already purchased. Now I'm going to get it out of my pants and I'm going to buy it again. Because during the night, I took that book apart and I filled it with contraband. Now it looks like it's coming directly from Barnes and Noble, so they're not doing a whole lot of looking at it. But when Spanx gets it, he'll start to work on it and get that book to break apart. And in that spine, which is maybe 2 inches wide, right? A piece of cardboard normally. Well, instead of that being cardboard, that could be any number of bad things that they don't want in prison, if that makes sense. And that's used to be one of the ways that they got contraband in. It doesn't work like that anymore. Tell me, can you find out if Sandra, can you back that up, Calhounis? Because I just missed that and I'd kind of like to see that. Said something along the lines of Sandra, somebody said getting tuned up in prison. If I find out about that, I assure you that I will bring that to you, I promise. Have you ever listened to Thomas Sowell's lectures or read any of his books? I answer no to questions like this all of the time. And then I will hear the name of a book and go, oh, holy hell. I'm slipping a little bit in the names of authors and things like that. Thomas Sowell sounds so familiar to me, but I cannot remember right now. But I will get back to you. Sandra V. Ark, the child abuser, gets the S beat out of her in prison. I wish I was her cellie for a day. I do too. I wish you were her cellie for a day. But I promise you, anytime justice is served behind the walls, I'm going to bring it to you. And, to be really honest with you, I won't be bringing it to you first because there are people that literally do nothing but. There are YouTube channels that's all they're doing is waiting for that. Yeah, Russ, we can't technically send anything into the feds. You can't do anything like that. So I'm going to put together a show where I can show people how they can do some things to benefit them, but we can't. Like the days of packages and mailing in stuff for holidays and all that. Yeah, they don't do any of that anymore. Does Q have any books on his wish list? I'm going to find out. I promise you I will ask that question. It's frightening. I'm not kidding you. Frightening to have a conversation with the guy that starts out, hey, have you read? Right? When you have 40 years, 30, 38 years or whatever, doing nothing but reading books. Like this cat has read a lot of books. And I look forward to the day that you get to meet this guy. Because the way I describe him, he's so humble. You would not know the guy's read 2 books. He really is a very humble person, but he's read them all. What is the most influential book you've ever read? Viktor Frankl's Meaning of Life. Search for the Meaning of Life, I think, is the most influential book I've ever read. That book is heavy, really, really, really heavy. I think that's probably it. I'm going to explain Q's story to you real quickly right here. I have done it on other videos. I can do it quickly. So instead of having to go back and look through it, I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest version. Q was in a gang, especially back in the day. Crash test dummies was the term, right? A crash test dummy was somebody that was really young because they're not going to do the same amount of time, right, that an adult would do. So they used to send in the crash test dummies. And if you're young in a gang, you want to go in. Right? Give me the gun. Let me go in there and start doing something crazy because I want some tattoos, right? Those tattoos prove you put your time in. You've made your bones. Q was asked to go in and rob a drug dealer. And the drug dealer was an older fella. And it should have been a walk in the park, man. Should have been a milk run. This guy wasn't going to fight him. He was going to give up the dope. And then Q was going to leave with the dope and the money, go back to his family, right? The gang, and then give them their stuff. He'll probably get, pat on the back, feel like he belongs, right? There'll be a father figure that makes him feel like he belongs. He get a couple $100, that kind of thing. So he went in to do just that. And the old man was completely willing to give up all of the drugs, all of the money, didn't want any part of anything like that. There were 2 guys who, when they heard the knock on the door, ran into the bedroom because they were the cop or whatever. So unbeknownst to Q, there were 2 guys on the other side of that door with hand cannons. So as he's in the process of getting the money and the drugs handed to him, now keep in mind, he's a kid, right? No father, no nothing. He's a stick-up kid. He's a gangbanger, right? He's a teenager. Well, the gentlemen that were in the bedroom came out, and they didn't come out and say, "Hey, lower your weapon." Right? The door opened and they came out blazing. Right? Bam, 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 just firing at Q. And in the heat of the moment, when adrenaline really gets kicking, you'd be really surprised how hard it is to hit somebody with a bullet at 25 feet, because your hand's doing this one. Q, on the other hand, was successful. And he killed both of the people that were shooting at him. He's guilty of that. He's taken responsibility for that. He's never once done anything but taken responsibility for that. He wanted to plead guilty at his arraignment. Since then, he became a different human being, right? And the fact that you can listen to me here and think, you know, boy, Tommy's changed. I promise you, Q has changed more than I have. Yeah. So the really thing that what's a bummer is this. The longer that we're on this planet, the more you hear things like, you know, the mind of a especially a man doesn't fully mature until they're close to 30. But we can take something a guy did when he was 17 or 18 and throw away the rest of his life for it. And you know what? Every single life on this planet is worth saving. You believe that, don't you? Because I do. But I'm also the mayor of Realville. And you think the two guys who came smoking out of that bedroom with guns blaring were the salt of the earth? It's an occupational hazard. If you carry a loaded gun around with you and you're in the drug trade in a gang, that's an occupational hazard, right? That's something that happens to people who do that for a living. He died of natural causes, right? If you're a drug dealer and you try to shoot people, right, that's natural causes. But yes, I have never shown a picture of Q, and the reason I have not is because I have never been able to get permission from him to allow me to do that. If he ever says, yeah, that's cool, I will show you. He's a handsome guy. He's a good looking dude. Have I ever read Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale? Yes, I have. It changed my life. I think it's good for dudes to read to understand a lady's perspective and the violence often perpetuated upon our personhood. Yes, I did. I read The Handmaid's Tale. That was, I've never, by way of full disclosure, I have not been able to see any of the adaptations because of my particular, I don't watch stuff anymore that's filmed. But yes, I did read The Handmaid's Tale. And you know what? Especially once you're above the age of, say, 18, if you look at a book and go, oh, well, that's a chick book, I can't learn anything from it. Come on, man. Honestly, come on. Catch your snap. It gets back to the echo chamber thing. I want to read things about stuff I don't understand. That makes way more sense to me than reading about things I already understand. Right? Have I ever read Walden, and what did you think? Do you mean as in like Walden on Walden Pond? What's the guy's name? Calhoun, help me. Walden. Cat went out there with $16, decided to build a little shack. That kind of Walden. Yeah, I can't think of the author's name now. See, this is brain damage, people. There was a time where I could have. It's a bit sad. Yes. On Golden Pond isn't the right one. On Walden Pond by Henry David Thoreau. Thank you. Yeah, I read it many, 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 many years ago. I want to tell you something. This is going to bum everybody out. If you're very happy stripping your life down to minimalism, so that all of the trappings of society and all of the things around you that get in the way of your spiritual growth, or get in the way of your psychological growth, or get in the way of you loving the people around you, then you know what? Do it. Do it. Do it in an ashram. Do it in a cave, right? Do it in your own freaking house. Stop throwing crap out the window. Stop buying stuff you don't need, right? Give it a try. Now, I will tell you this. I walked into a place and they took my clothing, right? I stood on a concrete floor with a man in front of me and a man behind me, right? Bare ass naked. And over the course of the next hour, I walked from one place to another answering questions, naked, right? Nothing whatsoever of who I was, what my personality was, who I am. People go, man, I don't understand why those idiots all get tattoos while they're in there. Why? Because you take everything away from the person. You make me look just like the next guy. You make him look just like the next guy. Everybody looks identical. You can't choose different clothing. You can't choose this. You can't choose that. Of course they're going to get ink. Here, I'm different. See this? See these tattoos, right? They're not skulls. There's nothing on there that says I killed somebody. I ain't got a teardrop, right? No, actually, this is Alice in Wonderland. It was a statement. I didn't want to look like everybody else in there. But I've lived with nothing. Nothing. In fact, I lived in a place that didn't even provide heat in the winter or air conditioning in the summer. They gave you 3 meals and that was all they gave you. And I got a lot done. I'm going to lie to you. I got a lot done. I found out more about who I was when everything else had been stripped away than at any other time in my life. But I got news for you. I want it all back. You hear? I know that I can be the exact same person. I can spend the same amount of time caring for people. I can stay up in the middle of the night taking phone calls from people that need help. I can do everything within my power to be a better human being. And I prefer doing that in a car made outside the United States of America. Sorry, with all due respect, but that's the way it is. And you know something else? I prefer my watches to be made in Switzerland. It means something to me. It's money that I made myself. Now, if those things get in the way of me helping people, I'll get rid of them. I will. I got rid of heroin because it got in the way of me helping my kids, me helping the people that I cared about. I eliminated it from my life. In fact, I eliminated drugs, period, from my life. But I make absolutely no apologies for the fact that I'm a pretty big fan of some of the finer things in life. For real. And I don't apologize for them. I work really, really hard. Yeah, I prefer my snow in Utah. It's the greatest snow on earth, right? If I'm going to go and do it, I want to do it somewhere else. Have I ever read anything by Paul Coelho? I've read everything by Paul Coelho. But the other one, Milan Kundera, I don't know that name. I don't know that name, but Paul Coelho, yeah, I read everything he ever wrote, and he's incredible. Really cool stuff. Did I get all of my tattoos in prison? No, I did not. I got a lot of my tattoos in prison. I did not get all of my tattoos in prison. The first tattoo I got on the street. I got a tattoo when Jerry Garcia died. That was on the street. I got a tattoo on my right ankle. I also got that on the street with my brother standing there, and Muhammad Ali was there for that one too. No joke. That was an unusual day. The rest of them I got in prison. I can't begin to tell you how much this means to me. Thank you for sharing the Q story again. I appreciate it. It's very heart-wrenching. I will hold space for him in my thoughts. That is a beautiful thing to say. I would ask that all of you hold space in your thoughts and in your hearts for people that the world has given up on. I want to tell you something. There is nothing that you could do on earth, right, that is as abhorrent as the things that put people in prison for life, right? Really. Taking someone's life, it's about, personally, I don't think it's the worst thing you could do to another human being. But it's certainly in the top 2, right? And it's horrific. But I think we need to learn as a society, that someone who does something like that can be rehabilitated and can become something fantastic. And if we do not believe that, if we believe that that's not the case and that that's not possible, then let's kill people once we find out that they've done that. Why would we spend $36,000 a year to take care of somebody that cannot get better? Right? As humanely as possible, let's help these people go to the other side, if that's the truth. But it isn't. But it isn't. So far, science tells us there's only one group of people that seems like they cannot be rehabilitated. You know how I feel about that group. Right? And I think most people feel the same way about that group if you really want to know the truth. You know, here's the thing. I think we run into positive people a lot, but they're usually asking you to get out your wallet. It's nice sometimes when you go and you listen to somebody who doesn't say, and for $9.95, I can do this, this, and this. And now my battery is dead. I'm not exaggerating when I say I cannot win. Well, I'll try to catch another live ASAP. Thank you for all your kindness. I'm sorry that your battery is. See, but that's why you get one of these watches that have a beating heart, because there's no battery in there, right? There's no battery. Those things will run forever, right? They are a living little machine, right? Actually has a brain, really does, has a heartbeat, all that. How did your tattoo artist do such a great job with what's available in prison? That is a really good question. There are tattoo artists who do very, very bad jobs in prison. There are some horrific tattoos you'll see. I picked the person that did my tattoos, especially the my Alice in Wonderland sleeve. That person had been arrested for coming into to the U.S. illegally. He was coming into the U.S. illegally for a tattoo convention. They knew he was coming, right? He had won an award there the previous year. So they posted up to get him. When I heard that, I thought, well, you're an award-winning tattoo artist. And he said, I don't do tattoos in prison. I just don't do it. He said, I don't do it inside, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, whatever. And he said, let me guess, skulls, snakes, what were you looking for? I said, I kind of wanted some Alice in Wonderland stuff. And his face lit up. He goes, you want an Alice in Wonderland sleeve? I said, maybe a half sleeve. Yeah, I want some Alice stuff. And he goes, I pick it. I pick all the stuff I put on. He's like, dude, I'm an Alice guy. I pick it and we'll do it. And I said, yeah, go ahead. And believe it or not, people, he didn't put patterns on this. He put stuff on the ground in front of it, looked at it and started. And when there was no pattern, and I said to him, hey, whoa, no pattern. He said, look, I will do the bunny's eyes. And if the eyes don't come out looking, the way you want it, I'll stop. And, 60 hours later, somewhere between 40 and 60 hours later, it was done. But yeah. You know what? We must believe in rehabilitation for most folks. There for the grace of God go I. Well, I was really a dirtbag, people. So I do believe that that you can come back from damn near anything. I really believe that. Now, the exception to that are the people without souls. And if you can hurt a child, systematically hurt children, right, for gratification, you don't have a soul. And if you don't have a soul, then it's a waste of our time trying to rehabilitate people who don't have souls. And the crazy thing, science backs me up on this. They'll tell you those people cannot be rehabilitated. And if they can't be rehabilitated, and that is actually a fact, right? Well, then why don't you just let guys like me and Russ go in there with about 15 minutes, right? We'll take care of them one at a time. I would do that job for minimum friggin' wage. You hear me? I would do that job for minimum wage. And by that, I mean I would pay them at least, $13 an hour to let me do it. And I'm sorry if that's something that bums anybody out. I understand why it would, but it is what it is. The Q's crimes took place in Maryland. Everybody, Maryland. That is where his crimes took place. Maxine, good to see you. Tommy, given your experience and growth, you ever thought about writing about prison reform? I sure as hell have thought about talking about it, right? I would, I'm doing everything within my power to get me to be able to go to Congress and talk about this, and have the ability to tell them what really goes on inside and where the tax dollars are being spent and where they're not being spent. This is just it's gonna sound so stupid, and people then say, "Oh, Tommy, that you can do this, this, and this. You're gonna have 400 ways of how I can become a writer," right? But it doesn't. Let me explain this if I can. Something happens with me when this goes to this. Do you understand? My ability to get what I have to say out of my head, right? Talking, fantastic. It's no problem whatsoever. If I'm forced to try to get that out through this, I'll end up on drugs because I cannot communicate that way. And it makes me feel stupid. And it makes me feel less than, like really less than, like there's something so wrong with me. And I know I'm a good communicator, people. I know I can talk, right? Now, when I journal, I use a type of shorthand that nobody in the world could make sense of but me, because I don't use words I can't spell. I don't use, punctuation, but it doesn't matter because it's for me. I can read that and I know exactly what it says. But for me to be able to write a book, or for me to be able to write, the skill goes away, and people go, "Ooh, get a ghostwriter and sit." The problem is, I begin to talk, right? And I start rapping that out, and they go, "Hold on 1 second. I don't have a script. I don't have a mind left," right? So when I stop for that 1 second and they go, "Okay, excellent," I'll go, "What were we talking about?" And you can you can read me back the last sentence. I'm not going to remember what we were talking about. And it's getting worse the farther I go. So when I'm saying that, I probably am not going to write a book, it's not because I'm being a obstinate guy, or I don't think people will like the book. Because I'll be really honest, I think people would love the book. I think I got a story that would be an interesting one to tell. I am not someone that can do it personally. I'm looking into some different things, the possibilities. I promise you I am. I promise you I am. So, but I absolutely, prison reform is something that is hugely important to me. So I'm on that. Calhoun, did I step on you? I've been known to, Have you ever thought of having your children write a biography, a autobiography? You're such an amazing person. I'd totally read that and tell everyone I know to. Well, you know something? The odds that, if that were to come out, that it would be, Cedar or Spanky that did it, I think would probably be pretty likely. Fortunately, thank God that neither of my kids have, my problem, beautifully. And in both cases, they're incredible communicators, right? They can communicate like that. They can also communicate on paper. So really just blessed to, beyond measure that my kids dodged that bullet, that makes me happier than you can possibly imagine. And yeah, you never say never, there's as we get closer, it's certainly something that we could talk about. I don't journal anymore because I don't want people reading it. If I get something with a lock or a password, hubby thinks I'm keeping secrets. Any suggestion? Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. Here's what you do. There are apps you can go to that use literally military encryption, right? Military encryption. And it's going to look like just any other person on a phone. It's not going to look like you're journaling. It's not going to look like you're doing anything. And it just keeps track of that stuff and puts it away with unbelievable encryption. There's a billion apps like that, so that you can protect what you journal. You can also email it. So when hubby says, "Hey, what are you doing?" "I'm sending an email to a friend of mine." And when you hit and send it off, delete it. It's always going to be there, right? And then if you want to go back and read it later, just go into the I threw it out file and get it and read it back. Honestly, Miss Sunrise Dawn, what I would like to do is maybe get him on here so that the two of us could have a conversation, right? Because I got news for you. If you are a woman and you are married to a man, give him 12 inches by 12 inches of someplace in the house that you're not going to mess with. Give him an area of privacy about that. That's his. Him. That's yours. Guys, do the same thing for your lady. And if she needs one that's I need one that's 2 feet by 2 feet or an entire closet or whatever it is. If there's not a place in your world that is yours and no one else's, if there's not a place in your world that no one else can go, I spent 13 years like that. It will drive you insane. Think I'm whooping you? It will drive you insane. And if you think that, my husband, trust me, I just go and I look through, listen to me. If there's not a place that you can put something that is yours and yours alone and safe where no one's going to look at it, you're in prison. So please don't do that. Please don't do that. And what you can say to your husband is, for the love of God, I'm not writing about you. I'm writing about me. And with all due respect, you got no right reading about my bleeding. Okay? You wouldn't want to. Okay? The stuff I write about you, you'd be loving that. You'd be loving that. But the stuff I write about me, what are you kidding? Think about it. I'm going to explain what was going on in my head, right? I took money that should have gone for rent or for my kids' food, and I went and bought heroin. All right? If I'm journaling about that, you think I want to put that somewhere where anybody can read that but me? Huh? You got any idea what privacy means to somebody? Meet a convict and then invade his space and watch what will happen. Up until 4 months ago, I didn't have Fourth Amendment rights. Anybody on planet Earth could just go in there and say, you know what? Move, we're searching your stuff. I haven't done anything. No, you sure haven't. But you're a piece of crap. We've established that. So although we set up these beautiful, list of amendments that are going to take care of you, Fourth Amendment, protects you from illegal search and seizure. You're not a citizen, convict. Get out of your house. I'm going to search it. I don't know if I can explain to you what that feels like. So communicate with your husband and say to him, look, man, this isn't about guys I banged in high school, right? This is about why I hurt, my innermost feelings. Things that even if you read isn't going to make sense to you. But do you understand why I need this someplace where I know it's just me? This is my counselor. This is my best friend. This is my brain. And if I think there's a chance that someone's going to be able to read it, even by accident, do you think I'm going to write it the same way? If on the outside chance some jackwagon can read it, it's going to change how I write in it. And if I change how I write in it, guess what? Take this thing, throw it away. It ain't going to do any good. You have to write in it knowing no one's ever going to read it. That is it. You understand? That's it. Writing to Q is difficult. And I've done this a couple of times before. Writing to Q is difficult. Communication management unit limits the amount of people who can write. So what we could do is we could put it all into one thing, but when we send it out and it's this thick, they tend to get a little bummed out about it, and we don't want to do anything that's going to get them to treat Q poorly. Now, I can work on getting ways so that you can communicate. There are things that can be done, absolutely. And we will do it this week, I promise. You're right, Tampa Bay. You're right. It is absolutely essential to be able to have a place where you can do it. Now, the other part of that is this. The other part of that is this. And it's different for every single person. Yeah? It's different for every single person. And I'm not asking anybody to do anything other than what is right for you. You understand? This is so uniquely you. It's got nothing to do with me. Even if I give you my advice, this is so uniquely you, because privacy is something that means something to you that doesn't mean the same thing to me, correct? Right? What you're willing to keep private, what you're willing to share, all that is so unique. It's more unique to you than just about anything. It's like your friggin' thumbprint, right? That should make sense to all parties, should it not? Now, guess what? I didn't really leave a whole lot of room for that. right? You guys have all seen the scene from 8 Mile, right? Well, there you go. Right? I'm a dirtbag, but I laid it all out, didn't I? And then at 46, I changed who I was. If you would like to believe that I didn't really do that and that this is the greatest con in the whole world, knock yourself out. Continue to believe that. It's all good. It's all good. But I almost feel like a dog, Seriously, I almost feel like a dog. And what I mean by that is this. If I'm willing to do it, I'm willing to do it with you watching. You feel me? A dog will drop a deuce or mount another dog or attack another dog or do anything that it wants to do with 2 people watching, 6 people watching, or 300 watching. It's kind of where I've gotten to in my life. I don't care. Now, I'm not expecting everybody else to get there. I'm really not. And I promise you, I wouldn't advise it. I wouldn't advise it. But it's certainly the route that I went. And it's fun because, and you'll see it. Stick around long enough and you'll see it. Somebody's going to pop up in the comment section and go, dude's real name's Brett, right? You know that, right? There's about 350 videos I mentioned that in. People, I ain't hiding nothing from nobody, right? Did I choose a different name? Kinda. My brother sort of chose it because I was in prison when that happened. But you got any idea how happy I was at the thought of being able to be a different person? Name and all? Man, that was a dream. Let me tell you something about Tommy. Tommy's never done anybody dirty. Tommy's never ripped anybody off. Yeah. And never cheated on a woman, never lied to a woman, never told a woman he was going to call her back and didn't. None of that. Huh? None of that. Got any idea how cool that is? So sling the dirt, do whatever the hell you do, right? There's something real liberating about the entire world knowing who and what you are. Judge me from when I turned 46 forward, right? If you want to judge me before that stuff, that's on you. Get loud enough about it. I got priors for shutting up loud people, to be really honest with you. I got priors for that. And I'm doing everything in my power to be a much smarter and a much nicer person. I really am. Tampa B, I love it when you're here. I really do. Really do. Love it when you're here. Big fan of you. I reinvented myself. I absolutely did. And I did it with a piece of paper, people. It was not an accident. It wasn't one of those things that as I started to make changes, I went, oh, well, that's kind of cool. I sat down with a blank sheet of paper and said, man, if I could do it all over again, who would I be? What would I want people to say about me? And I'd be damned that I literally could do just that. Sit down and completely change who you are. Right? Hell of a lot of fun. Hell of a lot of fun. It really is. Not even if you're an exhibitionist. Well, guilty as charged. Yeah. Peer support. Interesting concept. You understand this? It's a very interesting concept. Peer support is a wild thing. Sweet Liberty, thank you. Before Tuesday, thank you. I appreciate that. I'll tell you something else. I'm going to be doing some. I'm going to be doing some workout stuff in 2024 because a lot of people have asked me to put together a couple of workout videos, and just not. Let's see if we can hit 350 pounds bench pressing. Just we're going to get people the kind of stuff, and some basic yoga as well. I am going to be putting this stuff together. I promise you. I'll catch all kinds of crap, but I do what you guys ask me to do. I really do. Is anyone else getting Machine Gun Tommy internet skids, or is it just me? I think usually other people say that. If it's, but could be. We are at the top of the hour, which is kind of the good news. But we're going to be doing some stuff that's going to be a little bit different here in the for as long as we can, eh? We're gonna do that. You got my word. Total Jersey. Love the look of that kitty. All right, people. This here. Well, she's in there. She's just kind of hard to see. Is the cat in the basket? All right. Okay. I think that about wraps it up. Calhoun, where you at? Where is my... There he is, you freaking Viking. What's happening?
Yo, this is a sneak peek to what a studio could actually look like. This isn't my room or my house, but, I mean, man, it's so much more comfortable and spacious.
Well, that's why you need to get here. Lisa, you're so right, and I apologize, Lisa. It'll be on the next time, I promise you. This was just me getting, you know how it is. I'm sorry. Thank you, Jesse J. Appreciate you, man. No max headroom. Well, that's good. No max headroom. Calhoun, are you breaking things?
Also not my internet. Yeah, I'm totally busting stuff up right now.
Yeah, perhaps if you could not destroy your friend's studio, that would be a good thing. Wow. That's better.
Hey, everyone.
That's better. Yes.
Yeah, this is what me and good connection looks like, too. I'm plugged in, baby.
You are, huh?
Mm-hmm. Anyways, I'm sorry. I cut you off. What you were saying?
No, you didn't. Tomorrow morning, I will be back. Same squirrel time, same squirrel channel. Make no mistake, people. We are all going to continue to pull in the right direction. You accept? Why, thank you, Whitney. I appreciate you. For Tommy and for Q, thank you. Sorry?
Nothing.
Hey, Davey, be careful what you wish for, sunshine. All right. I will talk to all of you on the next one. Calhoun, I love you. Stick up. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.
Have a good night, crew.
Yep.